You know how in a major city, if you blow up the one central suspension bridge, the entire metropolis just sort of grinds to a halt.
Right, the buildings are all still standing, but the city itself is completely paralyzed.
Exactly, yeah, because the left hand can no longer reach the right. And well, welcome to today's deep dive. We are unpacking the March 17th, 2026 assassination of Ali Larijani. He was basically Iran's de facto wartime leader.
Yeah, and our mission today is to dissect this tactical strike, the massive power vacuum it leaves behind, and, the global ripple effects heading straight for you.
Right, because we're looking at a highly classified stack of U.S., Israeli, and Iranian intel today. And just to be super clear up front, our job isn't to take a side in this war.
No, not at all.
We're simply here to act as a translator for what these conflicting politically charged sources are actually telling us about the situation on the ground.
Exactly. So let's just start with the strike itself. Larijani was killed in Tehran by a U.S.-Israeli precision strike. This was part of a broader campaign called Operation Epic Fury.
Operation Epic Fury, right?
Yeah, and Israeli intelligence actually delayed the strike by 24 hours just to be absolutely certain he was at a specific residence in the Pardes district.
Wow, they waited an entire day.
They did, and what happened immediately after is incredibly revealing. For 12 hours, Iran went into what the sources are calling an information dark age.
Like the internet got cut?
No, they didn't lose power or internet. The state apparatus was just entirely paralyzed. I mean, the leadership was terrified of saying the wrong thing while they scrambled to secure the capital.
So they just froze.
Pretty much. They remained completely silent before finally confirming his death using this really heavy religious rhetoric.
Which, I mean, it makes sense when you consider the state of the regime right now. I sort of compare Larijani to a load-bearing wall in a collapsing building.
That is a great analogy.
Because, since the supreme leader was assassinated back in February, and his successor, Mojtaba, is reportedly either severely injured or hiding out in Moscow, Larijani was essentially the only adhesive left keeping a fractured state together.
Right. And to understand why he was so vital, you really have to look at his unusual background. He was a commander in the IRGC, Iran's elite military wing, and their chief nuclear negotiator.
Right, the guy who famously dismissed European diplomatic incentives by saying it was like trading a pearl for a candy bar.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. But he also held a PhD in Kantian philosophy.
A philosopher general.
Yeah.
How did that actually translate to the battlefield?
Well, his Kantian background isn't just a fun trivia fact. It dictated his entire strategy. He didn't fight with brute force, he fought with leverage.
Right.
He started as a pragmatic conservative who could translate between the clerical old guard, the diplomats, and the military. But as the 2026 war escalated, he used that intellect to become a completely ruthless war manager.
And we are all feeling the effects of that leverage right now. Under Larijani's wartime strategy, Iran essentially closed the Strait of Hormuz.
Which is massive.
Yeah, because before the war, about 138 ships passed through there daily. Now it's just 2. Global oil prices have spiked over $103 a barrel. But he didn't achieve that by sinking 138 ships a day, right?
Exactly the opposite. He just had to create enough of a credible threat to make the maritime insurance premiums too high for commercial vessels to risk the journey.
Oh, wow. So it's a purely calculated economic chokehold.
Precisely.
But wait, let me challenge that for a second. If we remove the calculated strategist, the guy doing the math on insurance premiums and holding the factions together, shouldn't the regime just collapse? Why do the sources suggest taking him out actually makes Iran more dangerous?
Because of who steps up next. Without Larijani's calculated pragmatism acting as a buffer, the sources indicate the vacuum will likely be filled by Saeed Jalili.
Jalili.
Yeah, he is a staunch, intractable hardliner who lost a leg in the Iran-Iraq War and deeply despises Western negotiation. You are trading a calculating philosopher for someone who views this as an existential holy war.
Wow.
Under Jalili, we're looking at increased risks of direct regional strikes, massive cyber attacks targeting global infrastructure, and possibly even a rapid nuclear breakout.
So the goal of Operation Epic Fury wasn't necessarily just to kill generals.
No, it's a tactical lobotomy. The coalition is systematically removing the regime's ability to think rationally. They are backing the Iranian regime into a corner, forcing them into a panicked mistake where the only perceived options are total surrender or total war.
Man. Which leaves us with a pretty intense thought to end on today.
Yeah.
The sources note that Russia and China are actively aiding Iran to prolong this conflict, right?
Yeah, providing satellite imagery, solid rocket fuel precursors, and missile components.
Right. So as you go about your day, consider this. If Iran's government completely fractures under this immense pressure and that central bridge fully collapses. Who steps in to control the advanced missile and nuclear infrastructure currently being propped up by Moscow?